It is important that we all pay attention to what is going on because it is clear that Peter Obi has confirmed our assertions that, of course, it is who the North support at every point in time that will get to have to be on that seat of power. Yesterday, in a surprising pronouncement, I couldn't believe my ears. Peter Obi said it that he is even ready to go for 2 years. I mean, in a nutshell, he said he's ready to go with every conditions the northern leaders throw at him, provided he just have his turn as a president. And then I asked myself this question: if you tell me that you are ready to abide by the rules, the conditions, the terms the northern oligarchs are about to give to you, just because you said you're going to be president, and on the other hand, you tell us you are not desperate, and I think you are just being hypocritical. Because what is clear is you are desperate, and secondly, you have lost that confidence in yourself. While I agree that yes, Obi needs some fractions of vote, but I don't think Obi should start, issuing such statements as he is ready to respect the terms of the Northerners. That if the North actually anoint him to defeat Tinubu as of 2027, that he will not do more than 4 years. I mean, where will you condition yourself? Are your aspirations to be the president just limited to 4 years? Are you sincerely serious that within 4 years we can have so much damage, so much deterioration, so much rottenness that has been, created in Nigeria for over 65 years, that you will be able to reverse it? For us to be realistic, I think this is just a complete maybe playing to the gallery by Peter Obi. Perhaps he just wants to deceive the North, and just maybe when he gets there, then he might kick them out. But there's one thing so dangerous about the North. The North are very, very, they are very, very vindictive. That's it. When you tell them you want to do this and then you renegade, they would not mind to burn the country down. They will not mind to go after your kings and kidsmen. They'll go after their businesses. They'll go after the innocent Igbo people. And for Obi to agree to such terms, I don't know if he can actually go into any form of court with them and he wins. It's a win for the Igbos, because after all, we have never had an Igbo president since the 1960s. The only president that Igbos ever had was, of course, the Nnamdi Azikiwe, who was, of course, by extension, a ceremonial president, and indeed, it wasn't even powerful. Now, when we talk about an executive president, a GCFR who has all the armies, the militaries, the police at his beck and call, and every statement will, of course, be yielded to. We've not had the Igbos, and indeed, they are well deserving of it. They should get it, but I'm not satisfied with this statement from Obi that he will abide by every terms the North throw at him just for him to run for 4 years. Let me tell you what the North will do. Okay? And I want you to listen carefully. Well, the North will have him sign so many deals, such as he will never talk about constitutional reforms. Because when you talk about referendum, when you talk about regionalism, when you talk about changing the status quo in this country, these things will only come by having the constitution being amended. As Nigeria is currently constituted, there can never be progress. We might be having the patch progress that today we go by 10%, tomorrow we fall by 11%. Next tomorrow we grow by 12%, the next day we fall by 13%. Yes, such will happen. But in a situation whereby a people living within a contraption will have what we call the spirit, the mindset, and of course the willingness for their nation to grow. In Nigeria, that would never happen because no true no true person, or should I say, no true inhabitant of this contraption called Nigeria today will tell you, I am willingly ready to die for Nigeria if they are not within the corridor of the power, of course. I'm telling you. And meanwhile, it should be the ordinary citizens that ought to say that we will be ready and willing to die for the country because we believe we love this country. The history of this country runs through our veins, the cultural histories and all that heritage, it runs through our veins. But there's absolutely nothing like that in Nigeria. Nigeria happens to be a conglomerate, a confusion of a nation where people who do not have similar background, similar cultural histories, were forcefully, married together in an unholy marriage, like I used to call it by Lord Lugard, and that's why I've always said we must continue to pray for Lord Lugard. I know go better for him, right? Good. So these are one of the conditions they will give Peter Obi. You get there, no problem. You say you wish 4 years, no problem. However, bros, you no go fit talk about anything constitutional amendment. You won't. Secondly, they will tell him you won't get there, right? And suddenly say you want to release Nnamdi Kanu. You see, that I'm sure. Obi gets there, they will give him that condition. You cannot get there and within a space of maybe 1 month, 2 months, you tell us Nnamdi Kanu has been forgiven and all his supposed sins. I meant it. Supposed, because for me, everything Nnamdi Kanu said is because Nigeria is not properly structured. There's so much inequality, right? They will tell him, if you try it, well, you will be impeached. Furthermore, one of the terms they will probably give him is, well, you cannot Christianize the country. You cannot begin to appoint only Christians, or you cannot begin to appoint only Igbo, because they have learned for what Tinubu did. Hence, they know they are between the South, where there's so much betrayal, there's so much deception, and they'll be want to be very careful, right? They will begin to give those very stringent conditions to be that your appointees cannot be majority Christians. I mean, they will begin to have conversations that you must adhere to that federal character in terms of religion. Absolutely things that they will not do. And this is why I said I was baffled when I listened to Obi when Obi told us on his what's it called? Yeah, on his podcast I had yesterday, saying that he is ready. Like, as far as that coalition is concerned, he is ready to play by every terms that they throw at him. That in fact he is ready to do 4 years. That even if they say he should do 2 years, he's bad. But be careful now. The Igbos are not this worthless. I know. Because I am with them. I live with them. I have married one of them. I know how they think. They are not small thinkers, they are big thinkers. Hence, this statement of what happened to you just being firm and being straightforward. Like, just it. Because we know that as far as Nigeria is concerned today, Obi wields nothing less than 10 million people behind it. Obi should be bargaining from a point of vantage point. But what I see is Obi is even, negotiating from a weak point. Giving the Igbo tribes, that kind of demeanor as people who are politically disadvantaged, hence they must be pitied. No. I understand so many people, so many of my viewers do not believe in the contraption. Neither do I. And the contraption is correctly constituted. I do not. I want the country to be, urgently restructured. In fact, to be renamed. Yes, that's my wish and desires. However, within this contraption, because I know that's not something that will happen overnight, and Obi wants to get there, he shouldn't come out and be openly kowtowing or kowtowing or just being subservient to the whims and caprices of the northern Fulani oligarchs. Because if they tell you that you should spend 4 years, and you agree to this openly, probably you swear by oath, by anything, by Quran, by Bible, and by 2027 you are doing exceptionally well, and they come and tell you, okay, you have to move. If you don't move, we'll go after your people. There's absolutely nothing you're going to do. And we know that this country has been in the hands of these northern politicians for over a period of 40 something years, and we know how they keep pulling us down and pulling us back. The campaign must come with what it intends to do. It shouldn't be built on hypocrisy and lies. His campaign must be as a matter of, yes, I want to reposition Nigeria, but I don't think that is possible because what I actually listened to yesterday, I mean, I wasn't impressed, by the way. Okay, I was not impressed, and I must tell you, I don't think if Peter Obi gets there, which I think he will, but I think if he gets there, I don't think he will necessarily have any significant impact because for as long as he wants to ride on the wings and he wants to climb the backs of the northern oligarchs who are, culturally vampires and vultures, I mean, they will not let him rest. They will actually cannibalize his government. If this eventually happens, that is what those are the things that are going to happen. They will cannibalize his government, unless of course he doesn't agree to their terms. But if he eventually agrees to their terms and they put him there, my brother, and he tries to do something outside their terms, it's going to be a very serious one for his people, not him, but for his people. And I do not pray because I do not want anything that looks similarly like the, I mean, the Biafran Civil War, right? I do not wish for that. No matter how, you know, how we might think that experience was, maybe how close they think they were to victory. I do not wish that ever happens anytime soon. Yeah, but if a Tinubu, I mean, if a Peter Obi can be steadfast in his belief without bowing to those northern oligarchs, his campaigns are just as transparent as he wants to govern the country, fight corruption, redistribute wealth, ensure it wipes out every form of inequality, ensure it brings in meritocracy into the system. When he's campaigning on these outlines and agenda, the northern people will be listening to him like, oh, okay, fine, okay, okay, and they eventually now put him there. They won't cry. You know why the North did not vote against subsidy removal? Do you know why? Do you know why the North did not vote against dollar subsidy removal? Was because Tinubu was campaigning that he will remove the subsidy, and all the North, unknowingly for them because they were unintelligent, you know, they agreed to it. They were even the one championing that cause that we will remove the first subsidy, we will come out the dollar listing. They didn't know the impact. They did not envisage it. They never saw it coming. And when Tinubu removed it, all the people who were supposed to lead the protests, their political leaders, their religious leaders, all of them couldn't, as at that point, couldn't swallow their words because they were the ones that said, oh, Tinubu will come in, remove the subsidy, and everything will be better for it. But now we know how we keep suffering. So Obi must be very, very careful with his words because I know that the northern leaders, to be specific, the Fulani oligarchs, are very vindictive. Do not promise what you cannot fulfill, right? Do not promise what you cannot fulfill. Well, let's listen to an excerpt of that podcast or interview Peter Obi had yesterday.
If only all of us sacrifices. If all of us, if we have every boot manned and the results are counted on the boot, people insist, you see this result, you must count it here. Remember what I keep saying. If we all insist that the result must count and is counted, it's not going to be easier with, yes, there's need for electoral reform, but even when that does not happen, if all of us insist, it will happen, it will happen.
Thank you, Your Excellency. N6, are you able to ask that question for us from TikTok, from our TikTok page at Parallel Facts? Do you have it ready? N6? Okay, let me find the question and ask very quickly. Um, Sir, somebody's asking about our budget of billion naira streetlights, and they want to hear your thoughts on that.
Passing through the road to the lodge where I live. I left my office. I called the commissioner. He told me, apply it. That's why we need the light. With a blessing.
Thank you, Your Excellency. One MMC space, you're up next. Please, one MMC.
Thank you, Gloria. I'll be real quick. Your Excellency, good afternoon from my end. Yes, I want to talk about the obedient movement. Um, I see we're beginning to have a solid structure on ground, which I think is long overdue. Your Excellency, I want you to please take this question. Yeah, I'm done. I just want
That what he said we will look into. Yeah, I will do that. The rest assured. That is a suggestion. It's like somebody who asks about.
All right. Thank you, Your Excellency. Abdul, I don't see your hand up, so I'm somebody. Minute. That's why I didn't see you. But go ahead,
All
please.
right.
Sam, please keep your hand up.
Okay. Thank you, Gloria. Thank you, His Excellency, Mr. Peter Obi. It's an honor to speak to you at this moment, and I really look forward to meeting you physically. I can sound that you are already exhausted. You've been talking for hours. So my question, or what I state? Yes, sir. One thing that I noticed, right, is that from my experience with the police, whoever in the obedient movement, I understand better now and see that.
For them to know that if anything happens to them, Nigerians love them and they'll take care of them.
Please.
Yeah, thanks, Gloria. Thanks, Parallel Facts.
That's what you said. That whatever they are doing is really linked to they are not being careful. So thank you.
Gift waiting for you.
All right. Thank you, Abdul.
You be the best student.
Paul, can we work and tell Nigerians we are going to work with Dangote and NAPC to make sure fuel price is specific promises which APC is failing to
Thank you
do?
very much. I need you to know what we're doing.
Him tonight. Okay, so
In the past few years, we probably have lost a solution. That's if I know, I said to my wife, I wish you can get me on before everybody.
Yes, sir.
Before anyone joins, that I want to join. And I wish we started trying it that time, probably using another method. Now that I know, I have to find another method of joining in future conversation.
Yes, sir. We appreciate that, and we appreciate you doing everything you can to just ensure that this is as smooth as possible. We know you're trying, and this is what we've been saying. You were doing the best you could, but the most important thing is that you are here.
Where there has been issue in Anambra State.
That way, we're able to discover it. Again,
Or to even bring it closer to Lagos. St. Lucia is 180,000 persons. Ajagun in Lagos is 500 and over before to happen. And that is where we will start.
thank you,
All
sir.
right.
But
Can
go
I?
ahead,
Okay.
M6. Go
All
on.
right. Hello, sir. Bola Tinubu has made us understand how quickly you can further destroy a nation in a very short time. One gaffe speech at his inauguration literally blew up inflation in seconds. On the flip side, good governance from Alex Oti has also shown us that 24 years of decadence in a state can literally be fixed in the same 2 years that Tinubu has given us ineffectual leadership. I'm asking a simple question, sir. Give me 3 things you would look into or take serious in your first 100 days in office. Because I need you to understand that when you get into power in 2027, for instance, you literally will have no time and Nigerians will be on a shorter fuse with you than they possibly were with Buhari and or Tinubu. So in 100 days, what will be 3 things you would focus on that Nigerians will start to feel better when you get into power? Thank you, sir.
Well, very simple. You bring civility and order in governance. How from day one prioritize security of life and property. Prioritize critical areas of the measuring development, which is education, health, and pulling people out of poverty. And you said to me, no, that is not achievable. Not that something you can start from day one. How do you prioritize them? You start by cutting the cost of governance and ensuring that resources are being rechanneled as quickly as possible to these areas. You start by ensuring that you fight corruption head on from day one. From day one, if you have zero tolerance on your own for corruption, your family and everybody are not involved. You start channeling resources into critical areas. And it's not something you can go far away to know how it was done. That is what I did in my state. That is what led to my impeachment. Because the people didn't understand what I was doing. Because from day one, I started cutting cost of governance. From day one, I've done it in every folder where I showed 3 reasons why I was impeached. Refurbishing office, refurbishing my lodge, ensuring that Anambra State, under my watch, does not have a governor's lodge in Abuja. Shutting down office of First Lady, using in my first 1 year, the cost of my travel was less than 20% of what was budgeted. I can go on and on. And then went into securing the state, which was very tough. For the first 2 years, it was tough. Very, very tough. For me, I must say that. Going into education, again, it was tough. Going into pursuing areas of health and rural roads in order to open up to fight poverty. When people talk about me and poverty, I can only say Go and listen to Magnus Pakol that was in charge of fighting poverty. Go and check my records from European Union to UNICEF to UNDP. At least that is better spelled that in 7 years, because that's 1 year I wasn't there, in 7 years, we were the best state in Millennium Development Goals. We started 8 years before we joined. So there's no hanging fruit. For example, somebody said now, whether I'm still in Labour Party, what they can do. If I'm involved, one of the things I must be able to do to bring about stability in our polity is to ensure we have a strong opposition. Very strong opposition. That the state will ensure it functions well, supported well. The party must be supreme. The party is more important. We need parties that will make it be worthwhile, that will be respectful, and be able to show that we bring in changes that will make our opposition strong. I will fight for proportional representation in the parliament so that the opposition can be stronger. And I've consulted them because about nation building, you will see it happen. In other places, it happen.
Hello, Your Excellency. We're losing you, sir. Okay. It just sounded faint a little bit.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, it's clearer now, sir.
That go ask people, go ask them in Anambra State. I work with opposition. You can go ask ACN, which is the party that our president had then in Lagos. Go and ask Governor Fashola when they came to Anambra State to campaign for Governor Chris Ngige. I gave them my staff vehicles to go for that campaign. I provided them with security to go and campaign. In the election I'm running, Chris Ngige's campaign against me. Against the campaign. Go and ask Governor Juso when he came